Enterprise Stories is the weekly radio program that shares the experiences of successful Nigerian entrepreneurs and provides expert analysis of their success factors. Enterprise Stories, business stories of success.
Welcome to Enterprise Stories. My name is Olawale Anifowoshe, your host on the program. This week's episode promises to be a very interesting one. We have the story of a lady that wears two caps, and she's going to share with us how she spotted gaps in the market and created businesses from them. But before we start, we're going to take a quick message from our sponsors.
When you are successful in your small business, as I am, people will always come to you. They want to know what you're doing differently, who your bankers are, and what kind of deals you are getting from them. Well, I'm happy to enjoy all the benefits of the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. My profit is up. But why? Because I get zero COT, unlimited turnover, no limit on check lodgement or withdrawals, free internet and telephone banking, as well as discount on training courses for small business owners. With special benefits like that on the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. Now, there is no reason why your business won't boom just like mine.
Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
Good day, everyone. My name is Bumi Afolabi, and I will be your faculty for the program today. How is business, dear listeners? I know it's a tough world out there, but I'm very sure that our listeners are even tougher than the situation and you're overcoming and excelling in your various businesses. Today we're going to be talking about how to use technology to improve your business. I'm sure that a lot of you probably, when you think about technology, you think, oh, technology is very expensive. I'm not sure I can afford, to use technology for my business. The truth of the matter is that technology will cost you, but the cost is really more in terms of time than so much of money. But the truth also is that the savings to your company and to your business in the medium to short term far outweigh whatever initial investment you make in order to incorporate technology into your business. As business owners, I know that we can be overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things that we need to do, both things that are important and things that are not. Sometimes we wish we could replicate ourselves and multiply ourselves into so many different numbers so that we can do all that needs to be done. Just because sometimes our staff themselves don't seem to get it, and it's like everything, rests on our head. So, how can technology help to make our businesses better? I'm going to be talking about 3 main application software that you can use in order to help your business and improve your business processes. First of all, we'll be looking at what we call customer relationship management. Customer relationship management software really helps any and every business that deals with customers. Oh, and which business doesn't deal with customers? After all, we say that customers are the lifeblood of the business. Without customers, what would we be doing? We wouldn't have a reason to open our businesses on a daily basis. So having said that, have you ever encountered a problem whereby one of your staff leaves and because of that you lose a potential client, or an existing customer just suddenly no longer patronizes you? I'm sure that sounds quite familiar. The reason that happens is that all the information about that customer, the transactions of that customer, have traditionally resided with the particular employee that has always dealt with them. A customer relationship management software helps to eliminate to a large extent that problem. Because what happens when you implement a CRM, as we call it, is that the information about your customers and all their transactions no longer just reside on one person's head, but they reside in the software, in the database that is kept either locally on your computers in your office. But as the trend is nowadays, a lot of things are being kept in the cloud computing as we call it. So even when an employee leaves your business, all that information is still available for the next person that takes up that responsibility to be able to follow up. So if somebody leaves today, tomorrow, the next person can open up the software and see that there is a pending proposal for customer B, and they can call up customer B and say, okay, Mr. X is gone, but I'm now the new person managing your account. So can we talk about this? And then in that way, you're able to retain that customer and business continues to grow. The second application software we're going to talk about is accounting software. I know that probably for a lot of small business people, you think that Microsoft Excel is an accountant's best friend. Unfortunately, Microsoft Excel is not an accounting software, but we have typically used it as that because we see it as something that works with figures. So we do all our reporting on Excel, we tabulate our income, we tabulate our expenses all in Excel. But the truth of the matter is that when you need to do comprehensive reporting on your business status, on your financial transactions, so you want to know how profitable your business has been, you want to know which business unit is more profitable if you have several units. You just want to have an idea of what expenses are taking up the chunk of your money, of your budget on a monthly basis. You cannot do all that with Excel unless you are willing to spend an unnecessary amount of time. If you have an accounting software, you can easily get all those reports and many more simply at the click of a button by asking it to generate X report and Y report. So an accounting software is absolutely essential for you as a small business owner to help you to have better visibility into your business. A lot of the time we have lots of data here and there, papers filled with all kinds of information, all kinds of data. But when it comes to actually getting information from the data, it's difficult if you do not have it in a proper software that can allow you to gather that information. The good news about the two software I have talked about just now is that they do not have to cost you an arm and a leg. As I said earlier, the real cost in implementing technology, especially as a small business person, is more of time to actually implement it and put it in place and get it to work rather than money. There is a lot of software out there on the internet that's available, that's free, that you can actually use. And as you grow your business and your needs become more sophisticated, you can then graduate to the ones that are paid for, which would obviously provide more enhanced functionality. But to start with, there are lots and lots of free software out there, which you just need to take the time to search for. Perhaps ask from people in your industry what they are using, and then utilize those to improve your business processes. The last one I would like to talk about, which is not a software that you install or in your business per se, but which is also very important, is your website. As a small business owner, a website is very vital to ensuring that you have a presence, not just physically in wherever your office is located, but on the global stage in cyberspace. Your website is your address in the cyber world. The reason why a website is very important is that as businesses become more global and customers themselves become more global, you're not just looking at people in your immediate vicinity. A website enables you to position yourself and to make yourself visible beyond your immediate environment. So you have people who are able to call you from all over the world. Depending on what kind of business you're in, you can actually service customers both locally and internationally if you have a website. It's important to mention that getting a website should be done professionally. As much as possible, it's advisable that you do not do it yourself unless you're a core technical person, but have someone who is professional do it for you. It's also important to keep the website fresh and engaging on a regular basis. So with these three things I've talked about, I hope that you are convinced that you do not need so much money to implement technology and that technology can actually help to improve your business. Thank you very much.
My brother, you see, for this our import and export business, not be who go China pass na be the issue. Now who you dey follow talk na im matter, eh? Who you dey follow talk as how? The expert then we sabi the business of import and export in toto. People like Stanbic IBTC Bank.
Stanbic IBTC? Na person name be that?
Stanbic IBTC Bank na my bank, and then sabi my business well.
Announcing the arrival of Flight 220 from China.
Doing business in China? Come, let's talk about how our expertise and understanding of the import and export business will help you grow and trade smarter. With Stanbic IBTC Bank, you have access to import and export trade finance, letters of credit, telegraphic transfer, bills for collection, and other well-tailored trade advice that moves you forward. For more information, visit www.stanbicibtc.com or call our number 0700 2255 782 6242. Stanbic IBTC, moving forward.
We are back. We're now in the story of the day segment, and in the studio with us today is Mrs. Bukky George, the lady that wears two caps. She's the CEO of Health Plus Pharmacy and Casabella Beauty. You're welcome to Enterprise Stories.
Thank you very much, Wale.
So tell us about Health Plus Pharmacy.
Health Plus is Nigeria's leading retail pharmacy chain. Our mission is to help people achieve optimum health and vitality. We have a vision to be the pharmacy of choice in Nigeria. Earlier this year, we turned 14, and from inception, we have distinguished ourselves through our commitment to scrupulous sourcing, professionalism, innovation, excellent customer service, and a comprehensive range of quality medicines and pharmacy services. Indeed, it has been a remarkable journey of baby steps, blessed with divine favor and the most committed staff. Now, how I came about the business. I saw the gaps between the theory and practice of retail pharmacy. Retail pharmacy is also known as community pharmacy. And this was what really motivated the establishment of Health Plus. You see, I am restless, independent, and I'm a bit of a rebel. I have very strong opinions, and my gut feelings are almost always right. I like to be in control of my destiny and cannot thrive in a bureaucratic environment. I like action. I thrive on stress. I'm blessed with high energy. I cannot maintain the status quo. No. I believe in change, positive change. I believe that these are the hallmarks of an entrepreneur. So I always knew I would run my own business. These, coupled with my training at the pharmacy school at College of Medicine, Idiaraba, and the gaps that I saw in the retail industry, led to the establishment of Health Plus.
Fantastic. So before you started Health Plus, you were in paid employment. So can you tell us, at that point, what inspired you? What was the inspiration that you got to start it while you were still in paid employment?
Okay, making the transition from corporate engagement to entrepreneurship was very easy for me. I used to work as a medical representative at SmithKline Beecher, now GSK. And at a point in time, I grew restless. And I'm a Christian. I prayed to God for the work of my hands and for directions. And I know I definitely had God regarding community pharmacy. Like I said earlier, I saw the gaps in the industry, and I took the first steps, which included raising finance, primarily from my savings, finding a suitable location, getting sources of supply, finding the right people, to help drive our vision. And for the past 14 years, we have been helping people achieve optimum health and vitality.
Fantastic. Listeners, if you're just joining us, you are in the Story of the Day segment. And in the studio with us today is Mrs. Bukky George, the CEO of Health Plus Pharmacy and Casabella Beauty. And she's been sharing with us how she came about Health Plus Limited. So tell me, like every other business, of course you have your challenges. People will go to this mall, go to that place, they say Health Plus everywhere, and you think it's all easy. Can you share with us some of the challenges you've had in the 14 years that you've been running Health Plus?
Well, business owners, in Nigeria especially, we all kind of face similar challenges, but then challenges are meant to be resolved. Everybody who knows me knows that my personal mantra is, to every problem, there's a solution. So even as I talk about our challenges, we have been able to overcome most of them. As a retailer, one of the most critical challenges is location. If you get that wrong, the business is doomed from the start. It is important to look for footfall, and by footfall I mean foot traffic. Organized shopping complexes and malls provide this, and establishing in malls has been one of our strategies. Some of our other very great locations include residential areas and the airports. Another challenge is finance. Like I said, I started with my personal savings, all of 750,000 naira way back then. And when I fell short of funds, my husband supported me. So that paid for the rent, it paid for the shop fitting, and it paid for the products that we stock. We basically grew organically for the first 7 years, and we plowed back our profits. With financial prudence, accountability, transparency, and a great business plan, we have been able to access other funds in recent years.
Fantastic. I mean, anyone listening to us right now will say, you know what, this is easy. I mean, Health Plus can do it. And with all these challenges, she's had a solution for all of it. But tell us about the human resource challenges you've encountered.
People, the big issue. This is a big problem for all employers of labor, especially in Nigeria. I would say that Health Plus has succeeded in attracting pharmacists and support staff who are very passionate about what we do. And I call them heroes in our communities. But as we expand, getting competent talent, especially in the areas of finance, supply chain management, and IT, has been a big headache. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. The poor educational system in Nigeria over the past decades has just churned out people with certificates and no real skills, no basic common sense, topped with poor values and attitudes. I remember starting our recruitment process using newspaper ads. We would get tons and tons of application letters and wade through 1,000 just to get one good accountant. We also use recruitment consultants. That did not always work for us, I'm afraid. So these days, everything is in-house. And, we still have to go through lots of applications. Use jobberman.com, for instance. It's getting easier. Practice makes perfect.
Okay. But share some, with this kind of operation you have, you certainly will have other more technical challenges. Maybe you want to share some of that with us.
Definitely. Sources of supply is a challenge in any retail business. But in Nigeria in particular, and in my own industry, which is pharmacy, the prevalence of fake and adulterated drugs in Nigeria is a problem. And we took a corporate decision at the very inception to ensure that we're sourcing our products properly and ensuring the integrity of our supply chain. We guarantee absolute quality of our medicines and products by buying from directly from manufacturers, from pharmacist-owned wholesalers, and we never go to the drug markets, never. A couple more challenges. Retail management is rudimentary in Nigeria. The whole inventory management and shrinkage. Shrinkage basically means pilfering are major problems, but technology is helping here. So we use retail software for POS and inventory management. We have to have CCTV. We use retail security. We have security guards and just general stock taking, regular stock taking. All of these help to manage shrinkage. Experts in shop fitting is a bit of a challenge, and this is a challenge to, I'm throwing this challenge to anybody out there who will be interested in becoming an expert in shop fitting. The malls are being developed, retail is booming. That's big business for somebody who chooses to take the plunge. Pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated by government and its agencies, and this can be a double-edged sword. But some of these policies are stifling. But with dialogue and cooperation, without necessarily compromising controls, all stakeholders can achieve their aims, I believe.
So at what point did Casabella Beauty come into the picture after you had started Health Plus?
Casabella, the art of beauty. Casabella is a one-stop shop for grooming and beauty solutions for men and women, and it's an exciting retail business. When I talk about Casabella, I'm always smiling. A bit more exciting than Health.
Yes, you're smiling right now.
I saw the gaps in beauty. And where do you get a great toilet bag? Where do you get a compact mirror? Where do you get great products for natural hair? So we saw the gaps and we developed a new brand, Casabella, to address this. The good thing is Casabella is retail and it makes use of exactly the same back end as Health Plus. So admin department, human resources, accounts, audit, distribution center, everything is the same. Makes use of the back end of Health Plus. Very convenient.
Listeners, if you're just joining us on Enterprise Stories, we have been talking with Mrs. Bukky George, the CEO of Health Plus Pharmacy and Casabella Beauty, and she has been sharing with us some of the challenges she's had in the last 14 years of running a business, and also how she spotted the gap in the market and started the Casabella Beauty. Bukky, very quickly, share with us, what are those things? When you sit back and you look at Health Plus in the last 14 years, what are those things that help you or you consider has helped you to be successful?
I call our journey the journey of baby steps. We started small with an 18 square meter space in GRA Ikeja, and today we have 17 branches of Health Plus, and we have a sister company, Casabella, with 8 branches with 275 employees. And I would say our critical success factors are a compelling mission statement. This is the reason why we exist. Which is basically to help people achieve optimum health and vitality, and an inspiring vision which is documented and shared with all our staff. Our core values are also known to everybody. These are very important. Our core values are what we believe in. They are what we hold very dear, and when we walk the talk, it becomes our culture. The right people. Richard Branson always says, look out for energy, enthusiasm, and the right attitude when you're hiring. I literally have a piece of paper with these 3 words beside me when I'm hiring people, our staff: energy, enthusiasm, and the right attitude. Our brand is also very critical, and our brand is our promise to our customers, and we ensure that absolutely nothing erodes this. A great brand that is aesthetically pleasing is very key. I have to mention business skills. You can develop your business skills through books. I personally am known by all to read a lot, and accessing great books has never been easier. You can also develop business skills by attending seminars, conferences, and short courses. You can get a degree, you can get an MBA from LBS, for instance. You can obtain the EDC's certificate in entrepreneurial management. You can develop your business skills by taking advantage of opportunities from NGOs such as Faith Foundation, Women in Management and Business, etc. And I also think you can develop your business skills by getting a mentor. Retail savviness is key in my own industry. And as a retailer, I have to understand retail maths, retail matrix, and retail management in general. Recently, an organization called DMS West Africa established in this country, and they are a fantastic resource for retail management. And finally, I'll mention prudence, continuous improvement, always upping the ante, always raising the bar, striving for excellence, no shortcuts, paying keen attention to detail. All of these have been part of our success story. And the most important of all, the God factor. I rely on God for grace, direction, inspiration, and favor.
Okay, if you're just joining us, Bukky George of Health Plus has just been sharing the critical success factors of her own business with us on Enterprise Stories. Now, Bukky, before you go, there's one thing I would like you to share with the listeners out there. You know, in Nigeria today, pharmacy business is actually big, and there are little pharmacy businesses springing up every day. And a lot of them actually look up to you. As a yardstick for their own growth. What one message would you be sending out to them today?
Excellence. Striving for excellence would be the one word or phrase.
Striving for excellence, 2 words.
3 words.
3 words. Okay. Thank you very much, Bukky, for sharing your story with us today on Enterprise Stories. Listeners, please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.
When you are successful in your small business, as I am, people will always come to you. They want to know what you're doing differently, who your bankers are, and what kind of deals you are getting from them. Well, I'm happy to enjoy all the benefits of the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. My profit is up. But why? Because I get zero COT, unlimited turnover, no limit on check lodgement or withdrawals, free internet and telephone banking, as well as discount on training courses for small business owners. With special benefits like that on the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. Now, there is no reason why your business won't boom just like mine.
Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
You're tuned in to Enterprise Stories, brought to you by Stanbic IBTC and Enterprise Development Center of the Pan Atlantic University.
Welcome back to Enterprise Stories. We have been listening to the story of Bukky George, the CEO of Health Plus Limited, and she shared with us a lot. Bumi, give us your expert analysis.
Thank you, Wale. That was a very interesting story by Bukky George of Health Plus. I was really excited listening to her speak. The first thing she said was seeing the gap, looking out for opportunities. I'm going to get back to that shortly, but let me go on to something else for now. She also talked about listening to her gut instinct or following her gut instinct. As an entrepreneur, that is extremely important. It's important that we cultivate and develop the habit of hearing that gut instinct, being able to identify what our gut is telling us. And then when we do identify it, following up on whatever we feel we need to do. Of course, initially, it may not always be right. But with time and with practice, you will get to the point where you will get it right. But I can tell you that the gut instinct is something that's put in every human being to really help us in all that we do. So it's really important that we learn to recognize it. She also talked about location. I must agree that without a doubt, location is important to any business. But what I want to draw out of her story is, for every business, you need to recognize which location is right for you. For her, retail malls and such spaces are ideal for their kind of business. So you need to identify what is the location that is right for you. And once you're able to identify that, then you would be able to succeed and get your business to grow. She also talked about finance, being able to access finance. We always cry and complain that, the banks don't give us money. How can we get finance to grow our business? But she made a very important point. The first few years, they plowed back the profits they made. They grew organically. So it's important that as small business people, that we be ready to delay gratification. Whatever profits we're making at the initial stages, we plow it back into the business and use it to grow the business. But as we continue in the life cycle of our business, the things that she said are very key: transparency, financial prudence, accountability, and a good business plan. As you continue your entrepreneurial journey, if you practice those 4 key things that she mentioned, it would open the door for you. At the time when you're ready to take in external financing, you will find that it becomes very easy, because any person that seeks to invest in your business and sees all those things in place would be sure that your business is a good one to invest in. So let's go back to talking about the gaps. She said that when she was going to start her business, she identified the gap in the community healthcare industry. And then as the business grew as well, she identified a further gap in the beauty industry. So it's important to identify the gaps that we see around us. So to start the business, she identified the gap. To grow and diversify the business, she identified another gap. More importantly, she was able to use the same systems that the first business was existing on to drive the new business. So listeners, I hope that from Bukky's story and from the few tips I have drawn out from her story, that you have been able to take some things that you can apply to your own businesses so that you can grow and become household names in your individual industries. I wish you all the very best, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Bumi, for your analysis. Listeners, if you're just joining us on Enterprise Stories, we've come to the end of this week's episode. But not to worry, you can log on to edc.edu.ng and download this week's episode. Until next week, stay enterprising. Join Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-Atlantic University, formerly known as the Pan-African University, as we celebrate 10 years of entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. For questions and comments, please email edc@pau.edu.ng or log on to Enterprise Stories on nigeria.sme2k.org for useful resources and articles to help grow your business.